a decade ago, I made up my mind I wanted to run a marathon. And I was lucky enough to get into the New York City Marathon. And I got a coach to help me because I'm not really an athlete. I guess we're all athletes, but if we have a scale from 1 to 10, I'm below 5 in terms of being an athlete. So my coach was Bob DeShannon Moran, who's written a wonderful book called Evocative Coaching with his wife, Megan. And Bob and I would talk every week about my coaching plans. He helped me figure out what I should eat, what kind of exercise routine I should do, what kind of shoes I should wear. And sure enough, I made it through the New York City Marathon. Now, I was tired. I remember saying to somebody, aren't we supposed to run past Yankee Stadium? And they said, that was 3 miles back. I was so tired, I didn't even notice as I ran right past Yankee Stadium. But I made it. I got through the marathon. And to get there, it took a lot of work. I had to do long runs every week, sometimes a 12-mile run, 14-mile run. Even I did a 20-mile run in preparation for the marathon. And then I ran a couple other times during the week, did other kind of training. It was a lot of work, especially because I couldn't do a 5K when I started. I lost about 20 pounds before I ran the race. But I did it. Now, I did it because I wanted to improve my health. And I did it because there was something in me that made me really want to make the change. I'm not sure exactly why I wanted to do it, but I wanted to prove something to myself. I wanted to sort of climb that mountain and make it to the top. And that's how change works. We change because of something inside of us, not something outside of us. We change because we want to do something. We want to accomplish something. If someone had said to me, you have to run the New York City Marathon, and you have to get up today and go running, and you have to do your long run, your 12-mile run, your 14-mile run. You have to do this, you have to do that, all that training. If I did all that training because I was forced to do it, it would have been horrible. But because I chose to do it, because I wanted to do it, I put myself through a whole lot. And had the pleasure of working with hundreds, maybe thousands of educators where I asked them to talk about big changes in their life. So far, everyone I've spoken to has said it's because of something inside of them. Change happens from the inside out, not from the outside in. We don't change because somebody tells us to change. We change because something inside of us matters. That's what triggers change. So the idea that change happens from the inside out is sometimes forgotten when people design professional development. So what can happen is we bring in some expert, the expert tells us what to do, and we're expected to go do it. So let's say, for example, an expert on what the research says about effective teaching practices. And the teachers aren't necessarily resistant to it. They're not quite sure how it works. They try to implement a little bit, but they don't really see the rationale behind it, and they struggle with it. And often what happens is the teaching practice gets set aside. And then the teachers can be labeled as resistant. It's not so much that they're resistant. It's just that change doesn't happen from the outside in. Change happens from the inside out. Coaching is designed for inside-out change. And what happens with coaching is the teacher identifies an emotionally compelling goal, an unmistakably positive goal that'll make a big difference in kids' lives. They identify that goal that they really want to hit. And then the coach helps them identify a strategy they're going to use to hit the goal. Rather than trying to fit the strategy into every classroom, sometimes one-size-fits-all kind of thinking, we start with the compelling goal the teacher wants to hit. And then we say, what strategy would, and I think that's how change ordinarily works. That's why coaching is really important. So I just say this, if you're a coach, your job is not to get buy-in, not to convince the teacher to do what you want to do. Your job is to get alignment with the teacher. And to get alignment with the teacher, what you need to do is help the teacher first identify the goal they want to hit, and then provide support so they can hit the goal. When you've got that, you've got coaching that's going to flourish.